Hello, my name is Michael Samuel Webb, and we are in our Lab 6 for Windows Server 2016 Data Center. I'm using Oracle VirtualBox, and today's tutorial for class we are doing a using Server Manager for remote administration. So we're going to use this Windows 10 just like a regular work. It's going to be called Workstation A. And we have running in our network right now a domain controller, and we have a new machine that we're going to be setting up, and then we have this machine here. And first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to get started on naming our other machine and getting it set up. So okay, here we are, our server C. So what we need to do to first get this guy going is we need to activate Windows, which this guy here, and it's going to pull up our key. I'm having an issue right now with the college hub on the hub, so my activation key isn't working for some reason. So we'll just go ahead, but this is how you do this, okay, as far as setting this up. Next, we're going to set the time zone for the machine. So we're going to set the time zone, okay, and we are using Eastern Standard Time. Alright, so that gets that set up. Time zone is not found on the local computer. That's because it's already, this is already well, actually, I spelled it wrong. Okay, so we're going to set it as Eastern with a D. Alright, that gets that set and out of the way. Next we would do our IP address. We already have our IP address set. We will go ahead and we will look at this guy though. Okay, and we'll make sure he should be a 10.11.141. Alright, 10.11.141, and we have it set. This is a work group computer. This server C, it's work group. It's not a part of the domain, but we have the DNS set at our domain for our domain controller. So that's the domain controllers. That is our DNS server. So we have all that stuff set up. So we're good to go. Okay. Cancel out. Alright, back into our PowerShell. We'll go through and say rename our computer. So you would just simply rename computer, and then you'd want to set it with the name, which it's going to be server C, but we already got that going. Alright, so we just exit out of there. Actually, this will actually not work, so we will actually get hung up here. Okay, so actually we need to rename computer, and we'll just go through the whole deal. Okay, and we hit enter. Okay, so see, it's already telling us. Okay, so we're good to go. So next, we'd want to enable our PS remoting, which this is actually something that would go on later in this tutorial, but we're just setting up this computer, so we'll just go ahead and take care of this now. And we'll say PS remoting. That way we set the machine up for PS remoting. That way it just sets up listeners and a WinRM listeners for what we're going to be doing here in just a few minutes. I'm getting lag from everything except for the rain. Or the rain that had already come to pass, which my instructor knows completely about. Alright. Alright, okay, so now we have all of the enable PS remoting and everything. We're not going to join it to a server, so we have the setup for the most part on this PC. We have enabled our remote management and our everything is good. We're leaving on our public, we're leaving everything on, so because we're going to go through the commands to allow us to, that will allow us to remote back and forth through the firewalls, which we're about to get to here in just a few minutes. Before that, I was going to show you that you needed some roles. Okay, so we have Active Directory services installed. We have Active Directory certificates. The DNS server, we have it installed, and file storage, remote desktop, and web server IIS. Okay. There's a few more here that you can go through and download. But for this tutorial, this will take care of what it is that we want to do. Alright, so we're just going to cancel out and go back. And now we are going to go back into our PowerShell. we are going to start using some commands on this end to prepare our machine for communication and the ability to communicate with our Windows 10, our machine A, our Windows 10 console, or Windows 10 console. So, alright, so what we are going to do is we want to add and manage servers, and since this being a work group computer and our other work group server, and we want to use a machine that we are using, basically our Windows 10, our machine is controlling our domain controller. So we want to set this work group server up so that we can access it. And in order to do that, I've got some codes, and just for the sake of the quickness, we want to set up a new item property. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's going to open up and give us a token. Okay, it already exists. I've already put this in, so it's a token filter policy. That way that it goes through and allows us to communicate for server C to have no restrictions as far as when we go to communicate with it, because it is a work group PC and not a domain PC. Next, we are going to go and we are going to since we enabled the PS remoting, we need to take care of some firewall issues. So again, in order for this to be faster, I went ahead and got this taken care of here. I'm going to copy, paste this in here. This takes care of one firewall rule. Excuse me. We are going to paste in. That takes care of another firewall rule. As soon as it says OK, and we don't get any red lettering, which we're not going to, so we're going to go ahead and follow through here. At least we hope. Alright, everything went good with that rule. So now we're going to go on to the next firewall rule. And we're not doing that. We are doing this. Okay. Alright, and we're going to go on to our last one. Paste and enter. No red text. Okay, we're good. On our work group server, we have taken care of our token, and we've taken care of our firewall rules here. Alright, which you can disable them all and do it, but for the sake of the tutorial, we'll just do it this way. And okay, we're going to go on to our Windows. This is our Windows 10 Enterprise, the one that is actually we're using it through our domain as our domain controller, and we're going to actually go ahead and go into this section, and we're going to add some we're going to do some PowerShell commands that is going to allow us to communicate straight through as far as our PS remoting to our guest, and it's going to allow us to actually put our guest machine um, onto our machine here, so that we can actually access it and add roles to it. Alright, so we're going to allow, and for the sake of this, I'm going to, we want to open up and make a trusted host, which our server C, which now we are on our Windows 10, we want our server C to be able to be on our trusted host list through our domain controller, so that we can access it and actually load it and access it and have it here on our using our GUI. So let's go ahead and get this started. We'll copy, paste. This will add our WS man. Okay. Next, we're going to set the trusted host to the server C. We're going to let it know that server C is that trusted host in the file through PowerShell. And it's going to ask us trusted host. It's going to be a WinRM. Trusted host might not be on authenticated list. Are you sure you want to modify this? And yes, you do. Alright, we sure do. And okay, and we're going to do a new local token. Get over here, and I found this useful for on this end. Okay, it already exists because for testing reasons I wanted to make sure everything goes smoothly in the tutorial, so that you can see that these things actually do work. So now we are going to go into our close out here, and we are going to go into our server manager. Alright, now from our server manager we are going to add that non-domain server, that workgroup server that we just got through doing some work on. So here we can put find now, and it's got all of our other even our workstation here. It doesn't have C in here yet, but we go to here and we put in type in server C, and we, oh, there it is, 10.11.4.1. Okay. Alright. We get thrown an error just because it's populating and it's a work group and it's not a part of our domain. So it gives us a keybrose, which is good. That's what you want. But we are communicating, so let's see. We're going to go ahead and go to manage as, and in this instance, for it to go smoothly, because it isn't a part of the domain, if I add it as a part of the domain, I will get a part of my domain is class 2020 /. You would think this should work, right? Access denied. Why? It's not a part of our domain. So it says no. Okay. So we need to get in there. We need to access, because if we go in and yeah, it'll let us get into some stuff, but it won't let us actually do anything. So let's go back in and let's manage as. Server C password for that server, and let's see what happens. Looking good. Still not activated, no, because I'm having the hub problem. Okay, now we're online, we're open. We have access all the way through as far as we want to go from our Windows 10 Enterprise. So now from here, what we want to do is we want to access this guy. We want to go in, we want to access, we have full computer privileges as far as administrative privileges to the work group until we add him as a till we add the server C onto our class 2020. Okay, and this pulls it up, and if I pull this over here, actually I can just go up here, and it's computer management for server C. And what we want to do is we want to actually add some roles on, so that's what we're going to do now. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead. Okay, yeah, so in PowerShell, adding this printer through PowerShell remotely to adding it to our external machine, which is our server C. So we would add printer, CPS, just global, and say yes to all. Alright, and printer specified doesn't exist. Okay, and since that result is going to be a little, so we'll just go around it and do it the easy way. How's that? Okay, that's one way, and then the other way would be, while it's not in domain, we would go here and we will go to, say, a simple remote desktop connection. Now this is to our server C, our non-domain server, and we are going to password and we're doing this from our Windows 10 computer, so we're not having to run down to the server room. We run down to our server C, and we are in. Alright, so okay, now we are in our server C. We've RDP'd in. So then we would simply go into here, into manage, into roles, into next, and again we are in our server C, opposed to doing it through our PowerShell like I demonstrated to the last one, and we want our print and document services. That's what we want, and we want to include, okay, next, and we want we have our 4.6 features, and that's good. printer. We're just going to do a simple printer. We can do internet printing in this, but for this demonstration we're just going to do this. Always a good idea for a restart to the install, and there we have it. Alright, again, my name is Michael Samuel Webb. This is Windows Server 2016 Datacenter. I'm using Oracle's VirtualBox, and we have used our it's been a demonstration of showing you how to get through the firewalls, remote management with WinRM, even add and manage servers and work groups using a domain computer, or using a non-domain computer. Well, a domain computer, but the server C was definitely a non-domain. It's a work group computer. And just basically overall using Server Manager for remote administration. Again, my name is Michael Samuel Webb, and I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial. This will finish its download, and then you just simply log off of the server, and once you know that everything is good, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope everything was in correct format for my instructor. Have a good day, and try to not get flooded out anytime this year or anytime in your life. Thank you. Goodbye.